Welcome back to upstate New York. We're in Lake Placid. We're on the side of Mount Van Hoevenberg at the Olympic Sliding Center's Bob Track, one of the most famous sporting locations in North America. Hello, everybody. I'm Martin Haven. Alongside me, John Morgan. Toasty in the commentary booth while everybody else is wrapped up against an Arctic day as we get ready for the second and deciding run in round 2 of the Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. And this track is going to be a major challenge for everybody, including our front runners.
Well, Kelly Humphreys, she won last week in Whistler. She's won on this track before, and here she makes a couple mistakes, uncharacteristic mistakes on top of the track, and she finds herself back in 3rd place with a time of 56:40. But Alana Myers, she's with Lolo Jones. They get a decent start. Myers crashed up in Whistler when she was all over a track record flying in the first run of the season, and here she puts herself in a position to 55.95. She's got a great position, and here in the gold medal position is Jamie Grubel and Aja Evans. Jamie Grubel-Posner, she just came down and just missed the start record and smashed the track record on the bottom part of the track. And she won this event going away last year, and boy, is she positioned to do it again.
Well, the last 3 winners in reverse order. 3 years ago, Kelly Humphreys. 2 years ago, Alana Myers-Taylor. Last season, i.e. January of 2016, Jamie Grubel-Posner. They are the top 3 in what is a very tight field. As you say, Jamie destroyed the track record, only 200s away from the start record set by Alana Myers-Taylor and Sherelle Garrett 2 seasons ago. Well, there's slightly disappointed Austrian slider, finished in the silver medal position, Christina Hengster, down in 8th. It's warming up. It's down to -10. John, it's almost time to get the flip-flops out. Ice temperature -14. It was -26 when we arrived at the track this morning. But the ice is still rock hard and lightning fast. And that's why the track record took such a kicking in the first heat. And it may well go again in the second.
Look at those orange pants. Those are warming pants that a lot of the teams are wearing, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, no, I don't either. Erica Halle, you saw there, who's braking for Andrea Greco. All the girls limbering up here. 2 Russian sleds, 2 Korean sleds, 2 Romanian sleds. The Canadians with 3 in the hunt, including Christine de Bruyn, who will be 6th off, followed by Christina Hengster. The Romanians go off first as our sleds go in reverse order of their first heat performance, and there wasn't even 100th of a second between Maria Constantin and her younger teammate Andrea Greco, the former brakewoman who is now driving her first season in World Cup racing. So they have nothing to choose between them. Different starts, but the identical downtime. Look at the way the North American teams are packed in the top order as well. Top 5, all from the USA and Canada. Romania's Maria Adela Constantin with Olivia Wild tied to the 100th with their teammates after the first of the 2 heats. They tied the time rather than setting it, so they go off first. I'm sure the brakewoman's got her helmet strap done up.
Notice she's got her hands on the push bar. She sets her feet into the ice. A lot of people come off the back and they come sprinting forward and hit the push bar in a cohesive move at the same time that the brakeman hits. But a lot of teamwork at that start. If you don't hit it together, it's like hitting a sack of potatoes. Ooh, skid there. That's not good. She's pretty good driver. Forward sled.
She had 3 different sleds under her in the women's bobsled season last year, including one of the ex-German FES sleds. I think they're now settled on a BTC Latvia sled. This is another BTC sled, slightly older vintage, I think, from the Aussies.
Drove the 4-man in the women's competition last year, so look at these lines. Nice.
Nice run through the chicane.
High there, though, watch out. She's really high in the heart.
Wow, use the height, though, down into the heart.
Pretty brave line there. Ooh, skid around the back end of the sledder on that curve 20.
80 miles an hour down at the bottom of the track, 79.9.
1800 slower, so we're trying to take a look at the track to see if the track's got any more speed in it. So now how many sleds we had down? We had 27, 47, then we had 38, 47. Yeah, we've had about 75 sleds down the track so far.
And it's holding up really well, as you'd expect in these temperatures. Nice high line on the exit of Shady, but brings it down without too much overdriving. Look at that, good exit.
Slingshot out of Shady, and that's, you know, that high line will do that.
You start one.
Right, so that throws down the gauntlet for her own teammate. There is Maria Constantin. Olivia Wilt, her new brakewoman this season. Andrea Grecu has Erica Halle behind her. Erica was also sliding in the team last season, and in fact, I think the year before as well. Andrea starting as a World Cup driver for the first time this year.
Was supposed to compete up in Whistler, but didn't qualify. Had a couple crashes during the week. But, you know, she's a rookie. These are great athletes. You know, they're not working with the most expensive budget of all the teams, and this is a old Canadian sled, as you can see, 576, which is a couple hundred slower. So both teams have been a little slower at the start than their first runs. That's a good straight line there. And so is that. It's good.
It's only her second year driving.
2500's leader, her teammate, who's more experienced. This would be a big scout for her.
They outstarted their other compatriots by 1100ths of a second. Still has a quarter second in hand off Shady.
She's a little late here. Now we'll see what kind of line she can get through the chicane. Something in the track there.
Yeah, a debris or something.
Watch out.
Still 2200s up. She's still got the lead.
24 accelerating away.
He's going to leave her behind.
This is not going to make her teammate happy. This is a race within a race. And, you know, Greco beats Constantine. Look at her. There's Paul Diego. He's hoping for a tie between the two teams. He wants to motivate him.
Well, Andrea Greco, you heard the squeal of delight there where she saw one finger up in the air. That means she has won the battle of the Romanian sleds.
High five.
Yeah, there we go.
They're get to the leader's box. And it's fun.
Exactly right.
Look at the back end of the sled here. There's
Track
the upper runners.
From the finish to start one. Start one for
they call those curves Devil's Highway. You can understand why. And here,
don't get closer to a crash than that without having one.
Hello.
Andrea Greco.
Dragos down there, another Romanian who's in charge of the IBSF Material Commission. He's the sled inspector. He's giving little encouraging notes to his countrymen.
Lee Song-hye and Shin Marin for Korea. We've just had two Romanian sleds. Now the battle of the Korean women. Oh, resetting. They have a minute from when the start bell goes to break the start beam, which is just there, where the clock starts, and you can use that time to reset to get that rhythm right.
Well, game on, 100th of a second. Now, quiet, really nice out of curve one. See what she does out of curve two. Little skid there. And that's a hard exit three, but straight.
Second run start time.
1700s up on Andrea Greco from the first heat. She's 1600s back, so she's lost 0.3 of a second.
Greco just had a great time, but here comes the Korean. 16 to 11. Good lines here. She can find the speed at the bottom. It's going to be late. Oh!
Yikes. You had to say that between the heats. God, you said it out loud.
200's back. Good speed here. She's going to need it. 80 miles an hour into the finish. How much energy did she lose up there at 12?
So tight to the 100th of a second.
And
no, doesn't get it done. So Andrea Greco stays in the leader box.
I think the Koreans are just happy this sled's at the bottom.
Of all the days to stay in the leader's box, this is not one that you want to be in there for too long. They'll take it. They don't care. They won't be feeling the cold now.
The labyrinth 11th, 12th, 13 here. It's so tricky. You only have inches to hit your target point.
Yeah.
You know, and just like in race car driving, you got to hit your targets. And this one, she got to hear a little. Look how high she is there. What great pictures from the team. Look at this. That's not the way you want to be looking at the exit of the curve. It hits hard. Look at the airborne of the sled. That's at 75 miles an hour.
That was a crash. They just didn't go over. Well, she's smiling, having got away with that one. She knows she dodged that bullet. Next up, Kim Yoran and Kim Mien-seong, her brakewoman. And for this second Korean sled, the better of the two, again, a second ever World Cup start here. Now, I haven't talked to the coaches, not sure whether the plan is for them to do the whole World Cup or to stay in North America.
I think they're on.
They know better.
I think they're on the whole World Cup.
Well, there's going to be a lot of learning going on because they don't know the European tracks. Brand new Hyundai sleds for both these women.
Good technique by the brake, but a lot of head left to right, in, down. Good technique, in and down in that aerodynamic position. She got a 4/10 lead. But the track here in Lake Placid has something to say about people with large leads.
Well, the one thing this track is Placid.
Competition.
No alligators, but no mercy either. Get it wrong, it comes at you hard and fast.
It's the personality of this mountain since they opened it on the other track across the street. When they opened Christmas Day 1931, the old track. Same type of personality, challenging.
There were a few of those sliders that were still feeling the pain on New Year's Day.
Nice line there.
Yeah.
Boy, 4900s ahead. This is a good run. Kim and Kim. Nice. Boy, accelerating away. Speeds 81.3 miles an hour, and these are the leaders by a lot.
Yeah.
6/10, 57, 58. Even though she's 4/10 slower than her first run, huge lead. So the track doesn't have any more speed left in it.
Well, it depends. Andrea Grecu found time in it over her first run. I guess it kind of depends what your first one was like compared to your second one.
Well, every single
Track is
spot of the track, she was pretty good lines here. This is pretty good. Try and steer away too much, that's normal. Go over there and hit that right-hand wall, left side of our screen. You know, the Koreans, brand new to the sport. You wouldn't know it the way they drive in that heat.
Russia's Nadezhda Sergeyeva next up with Anastasia Kotchevetsia. That's not right either, is it? I mangled that. I'm sorry, Anastasia.
You're getting better at that.
No, getting worse.
I don't even try.
Getting worse.
She got in late there. Boy, she's got 3/10 lead. She's got a lot more experience than the Koreans down below.
Yeah.
Ooh, tap. So yeah, she gets out of two. Boy, she steered around the bottom of that curve. That's not the proper line. You can't be steering like that. See how that affects her. That was 29 to 44, so obviously didn't affect her too much, but chance to move on. Good there because of that. 42.
Not quite as quick as our fastest sled, Kim of Korea. Holding this 4/10 of a second advantage.
3/10 speed, only 79.8. No speed by this Russian sled on the bottom part of the track. Down at 23, it's going to be probably in the teens.
200s ahead from the first heat. She was out to 4400s, comes back to 1200s of a second. Well, that tells you something about the speed through the air of the new Korean sleds.
Good lines had a lot to do with the speed, you know, and Sergeyeva, she had some issues up there around curve two. They show us that curve two again. She steered around the bottom of the curve. You got to let the sled go in there without steering. This is down bottom a little bit into shady. Pretty little high there, and then she dives out a little bit early.
You've got to think as the sun starts to set here, John, the track is going to speed up again as the temperature drops. I mean, there's no humidity in the air at all, so it's not going to frost.
Well, the track might just be too cut up, though, Martin. I think that the girls are asking for a jacket.
I still fancy our chances of another track record. There's Nadezhda on the right, Anastasia on the left, our race leaders. Russians lead, 9 to go. Christine de Bruyne and Catherine Medeiros, her brakewoman for Canada. Third of our 3 Canadian sleds. They lie 9th after the first of 2 heats here in Lake Placid.
Break down pretty quick there. 573 start there. 574 in the first run. And de Bruyne had a little mistakes at the start in the first run, and here in the second run, she hopes to improve. And, you know, her ride down the track in the first heat was pretty good.
800s in front of the current leaders from the first heat. They gave away a 10th at the start.
That's why they're behind now, but keep it single digits. There it is. She should get in the green here with a good exit, and she has it. And now 11, 12, 13, and let's see if she can feather her Canadian sled into the chicane, and she gets through there pretty good. 700, the speed is 80.7 miles an hour. Oh yeah, she's going to be the leader. It's probably going to be around 20, 2200. She's going to accelerate away here in the bottom. And De Bruin does good here in the bottom. She did great, like she did in the first run. She has little start negative at the top of the track, but good steering. Good driving down the track, good equipment.
Zvezda Segeva and Anastasia Koshevtseva leave the leaders box, and in go the slightly easier to pronounce Christine De Bruin and Catherine Medeiros.
This is the labyrinth. This is the two-corner, the end of the three-corner combination, and that's not bad. You see minute hitting of the sled on the outlet. To just tap that. Of course, that's at 75 miles an hour. That doesn't affect you so much when you're hitting at that speed. It's when you're hitting up top between curve 1 and 2 at a 25, 30 mile an hour speed, that's when it affects you.
8 sleds to go. Race 2 in the Women's Bobsleigh World Cup for 2016-17. Christina Hengster, silver medalist 2 weeks ago in Whistler with Sanna Decker, and they currently lie in 8th place, over a second out of the medals.
Very disappointing first run for Christina, especially after she finished with the silver medal up in Whistler with some very aggressive, timely driving up there.
1 second away from silver, and she's in fact 6/10 out of the bronze medal position. And even that seems insurmountable.
She should be up challenging for the medals. Good run here, and she could move up a few spots.
This is a much better looking run. No skids, no slides. She's barely touched the walls.
She does here in 13. Nice, barely touched. She feathers herself through here. She could move up, and no, not now. She's got to steer hard. 2900s. I don't know if she'll get away with that at the bottom.
Same mistake that caught
she
her
is
in the first heat.
And the speed, way better than anybody else. 82.3 miles an hour. She comes in at a time 56.90, 93, 200s better than her.
And it's that big skid out of the chicane.
Yeah, she could have
exactly
been
the
much
same
better.
as the first heat. That run was as good or as bad, depending on which way you want to look at it. I think she'll think it was as bad.
Yeah, she's top 3 World Cup points last year. She's medaled 4 times of 8.
Got a bronze here in January.
Yeah, and just maybe not the right runners for the cold weather. Look at the difference. De Bruin had a ½ kilometer better gain after Benham's Bend, which is down the corner above the chicane. So in the 100 meters, Christina De Bruin had a much better line and gained a ½ kilometer. ½ a kilometer is a lot of time.
Still got a big smile on her face. Christina Hengster leads as Alexandra Rodionova and Yulia Shokshweva come to the line for Russia. And the head of the Russian Sliding Federation is here. There he is in the background with the black hat, Alexander Zubkov, double Olympic gold medalist in Sochi. To support the Russian team here in Lake Placid. Final race before Christmas.
Well, start. They start time 5:72 in the first run. They should get close to that. 5:69. They improved by 300ths. Let's see if they can get cleanly out of 1. They could not. Out of 2, a little bit of a flop. Out of 3, not bad.
Well, they were in a battle, 100th ahead of Christina Hengster, the current leader, 200ths behind Lisa McNeil of Great Britain. So this is the battle, a 3-way tussle for 6th.
Lost 100, lost 3 or 400s there to Hengster.
It's going to be tight at the bottom as well, isn't it? Don't forget Hengster's massive slide out of the chicane. If she's clean, she'll take this all back.
Back, because Hengster at 182. The Russians only have 80.8 mile an hour speed. She's going to fall back at least 1. She might,
Ugly run to the line with 3 hits.
57.15. 2/10 slower, and the Austrians as we would expect, they're going to move up. They shouldn't be back there lurking in 8th place.
Christina Hengster's worst result last season, 7th place in St. Moritz.
She crashed in the first heat of the World Championships on her home track in Innsbruck, came back to finish, I think, in the top 6 or 7.
Yeah.
She crashed and stayed intact across the finish line. Yeah, that was
high drama.
Shocking. Look at these lines here. Watch on the left side of your screen. Crossover into the finish here. This is curve 19.
She hit the wall 3 times.
There's Evgeny Popov, the famous Russian slider, who was one of the first guys to really challenge this track. Got up there to 4-man when a lot of the teams were complaining about it, and just pushed off and went down.
He's had 2 or 3 podium finishes here in 4-man. Here's Misha McNeil, and behind her, McNeil Moore.
Why did they do that to us?
Yeah, well, it's all right. We're all over it. We've got it. We've got it.
You got it covered?
Yeah, we've got it. Top 6. And this would be a career high if they finish in this position. Best result last year in World Cup, 7th in Koenigsegg.
First season they've been paired together. 11th best start in the first run. And here they are with a 5.76, which is exactly like they did the first run, and clean there. That's really good. Ooh, watch out! She almost did that in the first heat. And now this sled could come back up. If they stay in the sled, come back up. If it's going to come back up, they're going to come up right here. This is the spot will come back up. If not, it'll go down below.
It's past that camera and has not come back up. So they will not make the finish line. There certainly won't be enough speed on board to do that.
They're going to...
Well,
oh, there it is.
Oh, back up.
Now they got a chance. Now this is still World Cup points, so
the question is, Misha actually still has her hands on the steering gear.
She's
That's
got control.
Amazing. And Mika in the backseat just clung on for dear life.
You got to worry about. She got to 18, 19. If you want to have your hands on those steerings, you're not going to get through there. So, hey, they finish.
Good job.
Now, hopefully the brake, we can put the brakes on here. Let's see if she's got control. You see the brake, but she's looking back there. Oh, there they are. She's up.
All right. She has no idea where they are, Mika. And Mish.
One thing about these sleds, when you tip over, you learn to get very small and get in the cocoon of these sleds for safety, and I think we just saw an example of that.
Fortunately, the British girls start off very small.
Well, they're finished. They finished. They get World Cup points. DNFs don't work. And here, watch her. She's on the left side coming in. The first heat, she was not this bad, but Misha just, and they're told, don't steer up there unless you absolutely have to. Well, she got in. She went in the wrong side of that curve, and then didn't steer on the outlet.
And experience tells you that, when you can get away with letting it go and when you really can't. And even the most experienced, I mean, you talked about Alana Myers-Taylor just 2 weeks ago in the season opener in Whistler. She knew she had it, and then it was gone. And it's that narrow edge. They're not cruising down. They are right on a knife edge. Every corner, it's heart in the mouth to try and get the speed out of the sled. Well, there's Misha on the left wall with her helmet off, and Mika on the right.
Martin tipped over in curve 2.
Yeah, that's as ugly as it gets here.
If they show us the replay again, a little slow it down on the entrance to the curve, you'll see that she realized she was in trouble and drifting. Here, that's not where she made the mistake. The mistake was before the curve, and
almost.
And this is curve 3.
Got away with it.
There's not too many tracks on the planet where you tip over in curve 2.
Yep.
And ironically, there's Misha there.
Yep.
On the other track, on the other side of the road, the 1983 World Championships, the world champion and favorite in the race, Hans Hildebrand on the 4-man, tipped over in curve 2, along with Peter Keenis from Austria and 4 other sleds. So 4 of the 17 sleds in the first 2 heats tipped over in curve 2. So
ugly.
This track is this mountain has got a personality that there's no place you're safe.
Well, she, as you say, successfully completed the run, so she will get points.
And there's Dr. Byrne down there with the USA jacket, the IBSF Sports Commission, and they immediately go through the concussion protocol like they do in any sport. And he checked them out immediately, and they're probably going to go down and get checked out again, but they finished.
Get wrapped up warm, and
they got a couple of weeks off for Christmas now. And you know, best thing for them is that they finish the race.
And you know that this is what weighs on the driver's mind. They know they're responsible for everybody on board. It's not just them. There's the crew in as well. In the two-man sled, you've got your brakewoman. In the four-man sled, there's 3 other souls riding with you. And it's not that so much the disappointment, it's the fact that you put them in jeopardy when you get it wrong, and that's what really weighs on the driver's mind. Of course, the disappointment, the annoyance, the frustration, they're all super competitive, and here's where it pops back up.
You know, in that exit of 12, which is such a problem, that turn has played havoc with everybody. Here it provides a little savior and gets them back up. And they get into that warming hut, and they'll probably have some more medal exams.
There's Stephen Holcomb on the left, your two-man race winner. Yes, slight hold. Christina Hengster leads from Alexandra Rodionova, and Christine de Bruyn in 3rd place. We have 5 to go. Fastest 5 sleds out of the first heat. Gouge is on the track in Lake Placid, and a little more damage on the nose of the Great Britain sled.
That's the telemetry hole right there that puts the gives us all the G-forces and speed and acceleration points that Omega provides. So that piece is in the track someplace.
Yeah.
That's what the track workers. So just like the NASCAR F1, there's a crash. They go out and inspect the track.
Yep. Make sure it's safe.
Here you can see the grooves. See the grooves? That's.
Well, of course, the sleds, when they're racing, will be above the Lake Placid line there, so that's way down at the bottom.
But when they come off the curve, they get into the straightaway.
They'll cross across them on the tram lines.
That's where there could be some issues. So that's what they're checking on. It doesn't take long to repair ice, but it's 10 below 0, though.
Well, one of the benefits of the ice being so cold and so hard is that it is much less likely to chunk off. See all the crowd down here near the finish area.
There's our leaders.
Yeah, Christina Hengster on the left, Sanna Decker on the right.
They moved up 2 spots. They should not have been in 8th place here in the first heat, and I will remind them of that. She didn't have, you know, it could be runners, though. Could be setup. I mean, they might not have a setup for this minus 10-degree temperatures. And as we sit here, the sun's setting, it's going to get darker, it's going to get colder.
The ice has only warmed up to minus 10. Normally minus 10 will be a low for an ice track. You know, it's only got up to minus 10 this afternoon. This morning it was down minus 16, minus 19 when the skeleton sliders were starting, and that was just the ice.
So now this takes the leaders and takes them out of their game plan. They had a thing, I'm going to go out 20 minutes before I go, I'm going to go warm up. Now they got to break all that routine. They got to reset, probably going to talk to their coaches or manager up there to say, well, they got to find out how much longer are we going to repair the track, how much is the delay. The jury member probably doesn't know, because the track guys, they got a long part of the track to inspect. She tipped over in curve 3, and she came back up in curve 12. That's probably 600 meters. So they got 500-600 meters of track. They got to check grooves.
Getting on for half a mile of ice to make sure it's in okay condition now. Where are the Austrian men? They're obviously somewhere warm hiding. They should be down there trying to keep the girls warm, get a bit of hugging going on. So, by the way, when it's cold again this season, Hester, our floor manager, is not averse to group hugs to try and keep her warm. She's been out there for 3 hours already, like our camera guys have, and counting.
There's our maintenance. Now they're taking slush, and they're putting it in the holes here, and it freezes immediately because it's 10 below. Now, when it's 25 or 30 degrees, that doesn't set as quickly as it does right now. So he's just doing a little maintenance on the curve there and a little patchwork. And
yeah, you've got to be quick with that trowel or it'll freeze in a lump before you even get it smooth. And you see they're just taking the little steps there out.
And
see exit of Shady 2.
Yeah, and this crew is well experienced at fixing patches in the ice.
Yeah. How much have these guys done over the last 2 weeks? Because most of these athletes have been training here all last week as well.
But all they care about is track records. All they're going to do is work tonight. Tony Carlino will gather his crew with Don Haas and Rebecca Dayton, and they'll go out there and they'll get their crew an incentive to go and prepare the track, get it ready for tomorrow. We want track records here.
We've already had one today in the women's race. We might have another yet. The temperature is dropping. I'm going to say plummeting. Look, the sky's still pretty clear. The sun's gone. Christina Hengster leads from Alexandra Rodionova. with Christine de Bruyn of Canada in third, and we have only North American sleds remaining. 2 Canadian and 3 US sleds in our top 5. And Misha McNeil and Mika Moore from Great Britain crashing off the exit of turn 2. Sled righting itself on turn 12. That's a long way with your head getting pounded on the ice. So,
well, they've got the athletes out of the sled shed, which means that we're within minutes of going here.
Yep. So
now they just cleared the track, so now we're back in protocol.
Brittany Reinbold on the right, her brakewoman Lauren Gibbs on the left-hand side. And Richard, the engineer, laying the sled gingerly on the ice. They do that at the last minute. Runners aren't allowed to be too hot, but you don't want them to be too cold. So Brittany Reinbold, Lauren Gibbs for the USA. 4th fastest start, 5:56.
Brown University on the back, and Evan Weinstock with Justin Olson earlier today, another Brown University graduate. And the leader of the race, Jamie Gruber-Posner, she's a Cornell University graduate, so we got a lot of Ivy Leaguers hanging out in the sport.
You see, with 2 in the team already from Brown, the conduit is open, and now the coaches are looking to Brown to provide more athletes.
We got our flight instructor here who had a much better getaway of curve 1 than she did in the first heat, where she, that's okay, that doesn't as bad. Her first heat, she was really loose and sloppy.
Okay, her first round advantage over Christina Hengster was 1400ths of a second. She's added 2/10 to that already.
Wow. So, Reinbold's coming on.
Reinbold's first run was not what she is capable of. She can do a lot better on this track.
If she feathers this here, it's down to 31. But you run 80.8 miles an hour, and this will be her best finish ever.
Yeah, Brittany Reinbold raced to 9th place here, one of 3 World Cup races. She was 6th in Whistler last season. She will do no worse than 56 here.
72 900ths better.
And listen to the girls hollering at the bottom.
Again, she made the big mistake before curve 1 on the first run. Couldn't get in the sled.
So close. Gibbs had the game face on this morning, and it's working. Career high for Brittany Reinbold in World Cup racing. No worse than 5th with Lauren Gibbs. And Gibbs, bronze medalist with Jamie Gruber-Posner 2 seasons ago on this track. That's her only medal in Placid. 2 Canadian sleds still to go. This is Alicia Rissling. What a run she had. Another World Cup newbie.
Yeah, she was impressive. I was very impressed with her driving in Whistler, but even more impressed with it down here in Lake Placid. Let's listen.
Great woman Geneviève Thibault from Quebec.
Start 69 to 69,
yeah.
5:69 both runs. And she wasn't clean out of curve 1, and she almost crashed in curve 2.
1700ths in hand over Reinbold from the first heat is down to...
down at
whoa, minus 11.
Plus 11.
Yeah.
So she lost a quarter of a second with that mistake, 1 to 2. And she, she had great lines on the bottom part of the track in the first run. She's going to need a gas pedal or something here, an accelerator point at the bottom, because she threw away a lot of time up top.
She had big high line there, but kept it neat on the exit. Riss had big speed in the first heat.
That's not bad there. 80.8 miles an hour.
I think Brittany Reinbold and Lauren Gibbs are going to creep up another spot. She's still 2/10 back.
She's coming back. She might get it down to the teens, but all that mistake up in curve 1 to 2, that silenced her opportunity to move ahead here.
So Brittany Reinbold on the left, Lauren Gibbs on the right. Will be no worse than 4th place. They lead with 3 to go.
If Reinbold didn't have that mistake in the first run, she might be up there challenging for a top 3 spot also.
The 3 women remaining.
Here's this
one in the last 3
Look at this
years.
drift. Now watch this. She comes over to the right side of our screen. Now she's got to go in the belly of curve 2 and almost did what the British did.
Yep.
That's so close. This, another 5 feet she would have been over.
Track is clear.
Alicia Rissling and Geneviève Thibault in 2nd place. Brittany Reinbold leads. 3 to go. All 3 have won in the last 3 seasons. for Canada. Kaylee Humphries and Cynthia Appiah. Martin Haven, John Morgan watching the final 3 sleds here in Lake Placid. 3 wins on this track, Kaylee Humphries, but not in the last 2 seasons.
5:52. She ran a long ways. 5:52. Both Canadian sleds matched their start times. You see what Kaylee does. A little bit of tap. Now she's got to come into the curve and have a hard exit. She made a mistake right here in the first heat and did not in the second heat. So her entrance on a curve 3 into 4 was good.
Humphries 6/10 off the lead in the first heat.
Well, she's 42 hundredths ahead of her.
Brittany Reinbold, yeah, she was 41 hundredths up from the first heat.
Well, this is very killing Humphries.
She still is only living on her first heat advantage.
I'm telling you that Brittany Reinbold's mistake before curve 1 would have given her a chance to challenge Kaylee Humphries. 48 hundredths.
And that's what the experience gives you when you're somebody like Kaylee Humphries. You've got that consistency. You don't have random runs. And Brittany Reinbold in 2nd place. Alicia Rissling 3rd for Canada as Kaylee Humphries takes the lead for Canada. Now, Kaylee is not, it would seem, destined to win this year either.
That little mistake there wasn't too bad. Her exit of here, that was a little rough exit on, you know, anytime you tap up there, it's costly. But another medal. What would you say she's won how many times? 14 times?
3 times on the, 14 World Cup wins.
And what did we say that Sandra Kariasis had?
No, she's had 18 and Sandra has had 40. Kaylee Humphries leads for Canada. We will have, likely as not, a North American winner because North American sleds are 1, 2, 3 and the remaining sleds are all North American. However, we may have a 2-time winner from the USA, and I'm not sure there's been a 2-time winner in Lake Placid in women's bobsled from the USA.
I think Shauna Robach might have done it.
No, I don't go far back enough. I was wondering about Shauna, but I was also wondering about the very early days of women's bobsleigh here.
Lolo Jones in the back. 5:48 start. That's exactly what they had the first run. Great exit of 1.
1400ths of a second.
Little skid out of 2. Nice exit to 4. And Alana, who crashed in Whistler in the first run of the first heat of the year, was flying in Whistler. Probably would have won that race if she got to the bottom.
Won 2 seasons ago. Didn't race in North America in the spring this year, so last season.
Concussion protocol going on.
Good drive and a good
great drive there. She'll compete tomorrow in the 4-man competition with her husband Nick.
77 hundredths ahead of Kaylee Humphries and
flying away to beat Kaylee Humphries by 8/10. Wow. I mean, home track advantage. That's an eternity of time. 56:21. What's the old record?
No, that's way outside. She did a 55.95 first.
Right, she's way slower. 2600.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of time to be ahead of the 2-time Olympic gold medalist Kaylee Humphries.
There ain't many days you lead Kaylee Humphries by 89 hundredths and don't win a race. This might still be one of them.
Pretty good lines all the way down the track for Alana. Little tap there like everybody.
USA swept the medals here 2 seasons ago. Alana Myers-Taylor won from Jasmine Fenlater and Jamie Grubel-Poser. Jamie turned the tables last season. She won here in January from Kaylee Humphries and Christina Hengster. Well, this could be a USA 1-2.
She won last year, but with a different brakeman, and this is her Olympic brakeman when she won the bronze medal.
Yeah, Asia Evans back on the sled.
She's a cousin to Gary Matthews Jr., professional baseball player. Her brother Fred played for the Minnesota Vikings. University of Illinois athlete and great athlete.
And look at them steaming like racehorses in the way sub-zero temperatures at the top of the track. Leader after the first heat, Jamie Grubel-Poser by 1400ths, had a
46
shattering new track record to take that lead. Will she go faster again?
couple mistakes up top. Another, she drives straight though, 3 to 4. 1600s isn't a lot of time on this track. Has to have these great lines. Myers was clean on the bottom part of the track.
She is flying again.
17 means she's stopped the bleeding and now exits into the labyrinths.
Don't think this is going to be track record time, but she might just creep a new one out.
Speed coming up. It's 17 to 17.
55.81 is the mark that she established in the
should
first
be
heat.
enough. It's probably going to be within a 10, but Jamie Grubel-Polster is going to win for the second year in a row in Lake Placid.
She sets exactly the same downtime as Alana Myers-Taylor, who takes silver with Lolo Jones. Jamie Grubel-Polster and Asia Evans victorious. Last year she won with Sherelle Garrett. Well, this year in January last season. And now in December she takes her second World Cup win in a calendar year here in Lake Placid. That has got to feel good. Not just 2 straight wins here, but winning on home ice in Lake Placid. Asia Evans, Jamie Grubel-Polster, your winners. Silver medals go to Alana Myers-Taylor and Lolo Jones. There is your 2-man winner, Stephen Holcomb. Sam McGuffey behind him, by the way, taking his first ever World Cup gold, and I'm suspecting his first World Cup medal. The American girls are jubilant.
They should be.
Yeah, rightly so. Kaylee Humphries and Cynthia Appiah claiming the bronze medal for Canada, but they were a second out of victory, 1.03 behind. So things to do with the Canadian sled. Certainly not much wrong with Kaylee's driving, not much wrong with their starting. Cynthia Appiah is a powerhouse behind Humphries, but the American sleds were certainly doing well here. Now, is that the Gibbs family? Has Lauren's family rocked up here to watch her win? Or Asia Evans' family, rather. Looks like it may well be. Jamie Grubel-Polster and Asia Evans, new track record in the first heat. They beat the old one out of sight. Went from 56.28 to 55.81. 27 hundredths of a second improvement. Not too many days you get to take a quarter of a second out of the track record. Jamie continuing that vein in the second heat, matching Alana Myers-Taylor exactly to the 100th on their downtimes to win by 14 hundredths of a second. Kaylee Humphries couldn't get close to the US sleds on either run. Brittany Reinbold in 4th place, Alicia Rissling 5th, Christina Hengster, the only non-North American sled in the top half dozen. And a long pause after the crash for Great Britain's Misha McNeil and Mika Moore. They are thankfully unharmed, a little shaken but not stirred after their inversion in turn 2. Spent 10 corners upside down. The sled righted itself and then continued on down to post a finish, so they will get points for a 14th place finish, but it's certainly not the top half dozen that was definitely on the cards for Mish, and that's a bit of a shame for them. However, they will live to fight another day, go home for Christmas, bit of rest and recuperation. By the time they get to Altenburg, they'll probably have, well, the bruises will have gone, but the memory will still be there a little bit, I guess. But you're not a proper bobsledder, they say, until you've crashed. Jamie Grubel-Polster, Alana Myers-Taylor, Kaylee Humphries, the top 3. There's Lolo Jones in the white bobble hat. Kaylee Humphries with her. Cynthia Appiah, and Alana Myers-Taylor there. So that's your 3rd place and 2nd place crews. Jamie Grubel-Polster and Asia Evans will appear in a moment or two once they've got wrapped up against the increasingly bitter cold. Temperature got up as high as -10 Celsius earlier, and is dropping way down now, down to -14, -15 nearly. The ice temperature very low, and that's why we had record times coming out of this women's race. Didn't quite get a new track record in the 2-man, But if it is cold again tomorrow, the 13-year, 14-season-old four-man track record set in 2003 may just go. Shades coming down as the sun has long since departed here in Lake Placid. Welcome back to Lake Placid. Jamie Grubel-Poser and Kaylee Humphries are now the joint leaders in the Women's Bobsled World Cup with a win apiece and a bronze medal apiece. Kaylee Humphries won in Whistler. Jamie Grubel-Poser took the bronze. Here, Jamie wins and Kaylee takes bronze. And in between them was Alana Myers-Taylor, who didn't post a finish after crashing out in Whistler, chasing victory and a track record. Well, there was a track record for Jamie Grubel-Poser and Asia Evans on their way to victory. They came within a few hundredths of the start record as well. That remains unbeaten here today. They have claimed victory in the second round of the Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. Start record still held by Alana Myers-Taylor and Sherelle Garrett from their victorious run 2 seasons ago, while Jamie Grubel-Poser posts her second win in Lake Placid in a calendar year. She won in January, she wins again in December. 2 seasons, 2 wins. Well, there she is in the center holding the bottle, with Asia Evans alongside her in the photo and behind her in the sled. Darren Steele, Vice President of the IBSF, former head of USBSF, hands out the flowers to our third place team, Kaylee Humphries and Cynthia Appia. A lot of excitement in the US team with a 1-2. Lolo Jones on the left and Alana Myers-Taylor on the right. And then Asia Evans on the left and Jamie Grubel-Poser on the right, your center team, your race winners. Victory in the 2-man an hour or so ago for Stephen Holcomb. Victory in the women's race for Jamie Grubel-Poser. She leads a US 1-2 in another North American sweep in bobsledding. And that's it until the women return to action after Christmas at the rough, tough Altenburg in Germany. Stay with us for all the action throughout the season. We'll see you next time out. Bye for now.